I think it sounds great. Mr. Diddy.
Black power, cause all throw up a fist for black power, cause all we want is freedom. Throw up a fist, throw up a fist, throw up a fist, throw up a fist for black power, cause all we want is freedom. Throw up a fist for black power, cause all throw up a fist for black power, cause all we want is freedom. Throw up a fist, throw up a fist, throw up a fist, throw up a fist for black power, cause all we want is freedom.
Coming to you with Giami Radio. All right, so now what we doing today is I am blessed to be sitting with one of my brothers that I have known for 10 years at least. His name is Naichi Dominguez, and he comes from California, San Jose, and he's here to help us take our children through the Sweatlodge. So what we're going to do is I'm going to need you to use your imagination. We are going to enter the Sweatlodge, yes indeed, so that you can get a feeling for what goes on. So starting first, Brother Naichi will share a Sweatlodge song with us.
with the sweat, it was brought by the Buffalo White Calf women, by the Lakota people. It represents one of the, our mother's womb, because when we were born, we were in our mother's womb. It was pitch dark when we go in there and crawling in. And we're in there praying for whatever we're praying for, And when we crawl out, first thing we do is when we come out of our mother's womb, we crawl out. And then that's when we scream, and we start walking, But it also represents the buffalo, the buffalo ribs, the ribs of the woman, because it's the belly of the woman. The lodge represents the belly of the woman. The belly cord goes. The altar represents the belly cord. The fire represents her hair.
Yes. How long you been involved with this way of life?
Man, since I was a child, since I was a baby, my father is Henry Dominguez. He's an elder. He's been doing it since '76. He's been dancing at DQ University in California. First dance was with Dennis Banks and Leonard Crodog and Russell Means, Chemo Candelaria, Fred Short, all these elders that started at DQ. That's where my father, danced, and he also danced at Big Mountain, Arizona, with the Dene people, and he took me out there. That's where I dance, Big Mountain, Arizona, and with my family, the Garcias, Bino Jr. and Senior, this is the way of life. My father got me into, to this red road, and to teach our people, that the red road ain't easy to walk. This red road is very hard. We have many arrows come our direction, and what we have to do is keep our prayer in front of us. When we keep our prayer in front of us, our road will be a little easier for us to walk.
Yeah. Hey, so why do you share the ceremony with the Simbas? I mean, because this is something sacred, and something that you basically could have just kept within your family, but you saw something, because you mentioned Albino Garcia and Nani, and even your father came out here willingly and shared the culture. Why would you share this culture? Because it sounds like something sacred. And it is something sacred that you could have kept this medicine or this healing that goes on in the Sweat Lodge and with these dances. You just could have kept this within your family. Why would you come and bring it here and share with us?
Well, first of all, my uncle Nane Alejandres and Albino Garcia and my father Henry Dominguez, they brought the lodge out here to Simba land, many years ago, and they had a little conflict back at home, but they resolved that at home and talked about, this way of life. We accept all walks of life, and for us to walk this road, talking about the four directions, the medicine wheel, all life is sacred. The reason why I come up here every year is because something that my uncle and my father brought up here, and for to continue on what they have started. Those are my elders. I love coming here to pour water for my nation, Simba Nation here. Is because they are my family. They're just because we have different skin colors don't mean we're not family. And I do go home and I do get a little arrows at me saying, why are you going up there swaying those black people? They're not our culture, they're not our family, and they're not part of our way of life. And so what I tell them, they are my family. I throw back, my grandpa's black. My great grandpa is Henry Woods, and he's full-blooded mulatto, and And I tell them, you know what, no matter what color we are, we're all one. We say about one nation, walking the red road with one nation, and here we are telling, oh, we cannot go to that nation and go pray with them or teach them our culture, because they're from a different race, they're from our different skin, My father has taught me better than that. My father has taught me, no matter what color we bleed, what color we come from, or no matter where we come from, we are one. We're one people. And
the blood that we all bleed is red. And so how has bringing the ceremony to Simba helped you?
What helped me is like I'm learning about my culture as well. My African black culture, from my grandpa's side, from my dad's side. And I'm learning how my ancestors, were slaves back in the days too. And I'm learning, every year I come, and I learned that they open their arms with good love, and they share that love, when I come, they greet me in a good, man, it's very hard to explain. You just gotta see it. You gotta be here in person to feel that love and that that greetings with the Simbas and the Simsas give you when you walk up into their land. It's like you get goosebumps, and it's like wow, it's very hard to explain, but that I can feel that love, and I love coming here every year, and this year I was very honored to have my daughter here to pour lodge for the Simsas, this year, and it was very honored to see her out there, pouring water, and also, locking up with them, when they're doing their walk, and also doing their crossover, I didn't really think that she would have opened up that much to the Simsas when she first came, but she seen how much love the Simsas gave her, open arms, so she wrapped it around and braced it in, and I'm very proud of her right now,
If I'm correct, she built the Sweatlodge that we're using today.
Yes, she did. It was her and a few other Simsas, the older Simsas, they did a great job on the lodge. Just me and my brother Mike, we just stepped back and let them do what they have to do, because that's a woman's lodge. That's their lodge. And if they felt that they had to build that lodge for themselves, we had to step back and let them do it.
Man, so it's a lot of power that comes out of the Sweatlodge. So when young people approach the Sweatlodge, I want you to act like the audience or the young people. What are some of the key pieces that you tell the Simbas before they enter the Sweatlodge?
Well, first of all, what I do with the little Simbas, is I offer them, I give them a pinch of tobacco to offer to the fire, and I tell them, that pinch of tobacco is an offering, the fire, for allowing us to come here and pray. And what I tell them, they don't got to be scared. All we're doing is going back in our mother's womb, and what they do get scared of is that when they see the little spiders crawling around. I tell them, no, just when you put that tobacco in the fire, you pray to the spider and tell them, hey, I know this is your home, but I come here to pray, and that spider will leave you alone. And after those kids put the tobacco in that fire, man, they were really strong. A lot of them really was very little scared, to go in, because it was pitch dark, and they didn't know what was gonna be in front of them, and all they could see is those glowing red rocks, and they get, and let me tell you a little story about one of the Simbas when I first came, how he was asking me questions about the lodge, and I was explaining it to him, and he was like, what is those rocks in the fire for? And I was telling him, they go in the lodge, they're, we call them tunkas, they're grandfathers, we pour water on them. And he goes, what, you pour water on them? And I was like, yeah, we pour water on them to, get steam, and he was like, oh, okay. So when he went in, he was like, seeing those rocks coming in, and then he was like, I can do this. And then when he heard me say water, let me see the Mini Wachosni means water, sacred water of life. So when he came in, he seen that bucket of water coming in. He was like, put his hand up and say, wait a minute, sir. What are you going to do with that water? Are you going to put that water on those rocks? I was like, yes. And he goes, wait a minute. I don't think I can do this. And I told him, nephew, just relax and pray. Everything will be all right, And then what he did is, like, when I first poured that water, just one little splash, he panicked and he took off. Took off from the back door and he ran out, and all I heard was him getting yelled at by one of the elders. And after the lodge was done, I went to that little young kid. I got down on my knees to his level, and he was over there crying to me and saying, I'm sorry for disrespecting your way. And I was like, nephew, you did not respect my way. I thank you. I thank you for going in. I thank you for bringing that, putting that prayer of that tobacco into that fire, And it brought his spirit back up, even though he got yelled at, but it was good, And when these kids, like this year, a lot of the Simbas, they're like, they want more of it. Before they were doing 4 rocks, 8 rocks. Now they're doing the 20, 25 rocks, And like, we built that up, we built their spirit up, not to be afraid of those hot rocks, not to be afraid of those steam. Because if we keep our prayer in front of us, we keep the reason why we're in there for a prayer, and they concentrate on their prayer and what they're asking God, Kankashla, for, they'll be all right,
So in the prayer lodge ceremony, we're basically teaching young people how to pray. It's about prayer.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the rocks, and the rocks are taken into the sweat lodge. You pour water on them, the steam comes up, it becomes very hot, and it's very dark in there. And in there, the individual are supposed to focus on their prayer. Have you had any young people, because you said someone want to come back, have you had any that say they want to come back and sweat again?
Yes, I have. Actually, this year, a lot of the tribes, there's about 7 tribes here at Simba land, and all of them, they're like, can we do another sweat? Can we do another sweat? And I was like, it's up to your elders, and they're over there asking the elders, can we do another sweat? And they said, yeah, you come back to Simba next year, you get a chance to sweat again. Right. And it's it's not an opportunity, to come up to Simba land and sweat. It's honor. It's an honor for us coming from a long way from the East Coast, the West Coast, come up here to Simba land and, share our culture with them as well as they sharing our culture with us.
So we in a sense are exchanging cultures. How important in a country like America, how important do you think it is for people to understand other people's culture?
I think it being us strong. We talk about one nation, like they say, one nation under God. Here we are, all our nations are fighting. Our native way, we try to tell our young ones, it's not about, different races, it's not about different cultures, It's what we need to do is start teaching our children, our culture, and as well as to learn other people's cultures, because when you learn other people's cultures, they all mean the same thing. That's the medicine wheel, they all to one circle, all different directions, all it comes to one. A prayer is a prayer. How I teach my family, my kids at home, I try not to let them, do no disrespect, to gossip, like hallelujah this, but I try to teach them, just say your prayer. You say your simple prayer, because if you say your prayer simply, that's humbling. You're humbling yourself, and also I teach them, hey, if you don't pray, God already knows your prayer. He hears your prayer. He feels your prayer, because you keep your prayer in front of you.
So how you walk, in a sense, how you live your life is how you pray.
Right.
Man, so wow, that's deep. So some people out here is praying for death. Wow. Hey, so now, you mentioned the medicine wheel. Can you go a little bit more into that? because because I'm hearing, and those that might not have the ears to hear this, he mentioned certain elements. We got elements. We got the fire. We got the earth. We got the air, and we got the water. And then you keep mentioning this medicine wheel. Can you describe the medicine wheel as best as you can on the radio, and how each one of the elements of the Sweat Lodge fits on that medicine wheel?
Well, the Sweat Lodge, it's in a circle, you know, and when we're in there sitting Indian style, you know, the medicine wheel is just, if you look up in the lodge, you'll see a star, and as well you'll see a medicine wheel with the 4 directions, and that represents all nations from different directions, from the north, the south, east, and west, you know, and that's what it represents, you know, and we call, there's a song, it's a 4 direction song we sing in the Sweat Lodge, you know, it's calling to all the four nations, 4 directions, you know, there's a story about the 4 directions with 4 brothers, you know, this story came to the Lakota people, you know, and it might not be exactly the same, but this is the story that I got. You know, there was 4 brothers that, you know, they were great hunters, and what happened was that, you know, one brother, all 4 brothers went out to go hunt for food. You know, when sunrise and sunset, you know, 3 brothers came back. They were looking for their 4th brother. So the next morning, the 3 brothers went out, and they went out and looked for the brother, and the sunset came. Only two returned, and they were getting like worried about the 2 brothers that was lost. And so the 2 brothers went out to go look for the other 2 brothers, and when the sun came back down, only 1 brother returned. So the sister begged the brother not to go, so you know, because they had to continue their tribe. You know, they were the last of their tribe, and so what happened was that the brother got up in the morning and took off and looked for his 3 brothers. And when sunset came, the sister was standing looking out for the brother, and no return. The brother did not return, so the sister just sat there, you know, starved, you know, walking around, and she found this seed. And when she found the seed, she ate it, and she became pregnant. You know, and she became pregnant. She gave birth to a little boy, Stone Boy. You know, and Stone Boy grew up. And grew up with stories about his 4 uncles. You know, and his 4 uncles went out. So when he got older, you know, he told his mom, I'm going to go look for my uncles. So his uncles, you know, he went out looking for his uncles, and one day he noticed there was an old teepee standing there, you know, and there was 4 bundles up on laying against the teepee, and what happened is that, you know, the flap opened the teepee, he seen an old woman coming out, and she knew he was coming, and he came. He was not afraid, and when the lady seen him, said, "Come here, come a little closer." And the Stone Boy replied, "I am not scared. I know who you are." And you know, and so when he said that, he jumped in the air and smashed her with his prayers. You know, and he seen the 4 bundles, and the full 4 bundles was his uncles. So what he did, he brought his uncles back home and put them in the 4 directions. In the 4 directions, you know, and he sat in the middle of, you know, of his uncles, and he started praying, and that's how it become the Sweat Lodge, the medicine wheel. You know, and also the medicine wheel represents all nations. You know, there's the colors of the medicine wheel has black, it's for the black people. Red is for the red people. Yellow is for the yellow people. White is for the white people. You know, it's one hoop, one life. You know, and that's what the medicine wheel represents. One nation.
All right, so can you do the 4 direction song for us?
Ooh.
He wasn't ready for that, y'all. He wasn't ready for that one. Alright. So, is there anything that you want to share before we bring this to an end?
Well, I'd like to just say, I just want to thank all the elders from Simba, for allowing me to come here to share my culture, with the Simbas, also want to thank all the nation builders and all the Simsa sisters, that helped put this together, and this way of life with Simba, will teach our youth, about their culture, and one thing that I have, I teach at home is la cura, culture cures. It's like, how do you know when you're going, and if you don't know where you come from? So, culture, to teach our young ones our culture, it cures. It brings that happiness inside them. Here I seen a lot of the young men come in today. About a week ago, Simba Land. Their faces were happy, but they were lost. But now they're having a good time here at Simba Land and teaching. They're learning their culture. And one thing that I've learned too is, have a smile around. Have humor. Have laughter, because humor also helps us heal. I just want to thank, I want to thank my father. One thing I want to thank my father for teaching me these ways and letting me come here and pour water for the people up here. There's one last song I would like to sing. It has, it's a song that's pity on me, of compassion. There's two songs, Oh makia yo puedo fue. Oh makia yo puedo fue. Oh makia. Oh makia yo puedo fue. Oh makia yo puedo. Hey, shila wanka tanka oma kia yo hoyo hoya hoyo oma kia yo hoyo hoya hoyo oma kia yo hoyo hoya hoyo tanka shila wanka tanka oma kia yo hoyo hoya hoyo oma kia yo hoyo hoya hoyo oma kia yo hoyo hoyo oma kia yo hoyo oma kia yo hoyo hoyo oma kia yo hoyo hoya hoyo oma kia yo hoyo hoya hoyo oma kia yo hoyo hoya hoyo tanka shila wanka tanka oma kia yo hoyo hoya hoyo oma kia yo hoyo hoya hoyo oma kia yo hoyo hoya hoyo Ushimaya yo hoyo 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 hoya hoyo tanka shila wanka tanka Ushimaya yo hoyo hoya hoyo Ushimaya yo hoyo hoya hoyo Ushimaya yo hoyo hoya hoyo Ushimaya yo hoyo hoyo Ushimaya yo hoyo hoyo Ushimaya yo hoyo hoya hoyo Ushimaya yo hoyo hoya hoyo Ushimaya yo hoyo hoya hoyo tanka shila wanka tanka Ushimaya yo hoyo hoya hoyo Ushimaya yo hoyo hoya hoyo Aho Kunkashila. Kunkashila, grandfather, thank you for this beautiful day you give us, grandfather. Thank you for allowing us to come here to Simba land, grandfather. To come up here and pray in a good way, grandfather. I ask you, grandfather, to watch over all our families out there, grandfather. From doorway in, doorway out, grandfather. I ask you in a good way, grandfather. We all say all together, one life, one heart, one family.
Oh, Mataki. And the flap comes up, and the sweat is done. The water has been poured, and you didn't even know that you was in the sweat lodge. Wasn't that bad, was it? Now, I want to thank Brother Naichi for being on the show with me and sharing the culture, because it wouldn't be a Simba if we didn't have the sweat lodge. I want to thank you and your elders for allowing you to come out. I want to thank you for being my brother. I want to thank you for having a Facebook page where you put positive things up and things to think about, because I got a lot of other people that's putting up stuff on there that's ridiculous. But, hey, it is what it is, all right? And you my brother in sweat and my brother in heart and my brother in mind, and I want to thank you. And we as a nation, thank you for the time that you spend with us, because it is marvelous. It's marvelous. So we gonna go and get ready because we having what's called a warrior sweat tonight, and I'm thinking I might try to slide in 3 miles before that so that I could be nice and, you know. Let me just tell you this real quick. I was sweated for 2 years, and those that listen to my show, I told you that I go through moments of fear, and I sat there and Nietzsche coaxed me back into the lodge because I haven't been there. I haven't been in the lodge since the sweat leader we had in Columbus died, and I missed Simba last year, and I got back up in there. As a matter of fact, Naichi pulled one of these on me. He did a Naichi move on me. I run early in the morning to do the sweat. I come, I done ran me a little mile. I'm already sweating, and the fire is burning, and he's sitting inside the lodge. He said, "Hey, Hatim, you gonna have to work the fire." So I had the opportunity, and I want to thank you for that. I had the opportunity tonight, not only get back into the sweat lodge, but I had the opportunity to be a firekeeper, which is a very, very important role for the sweat lodge. So with that, we saying we out, and
I want to put out a shout out real quick to
There you go.
Barrios Unidos, Santa Cruz Barrios Unidos. Shout out to my tío Nani Alejandres, to all the Barrios Unidos out here in the United States. Keep doing the good work. Also, I want to put out a shout out to my dad, Henry Dominguez, and I love him, and he was a great dad. I hope.
What about the Brown Berets? You ain't gonna shout them out?
I'll give it out. Shout out to the San Jose Black Berets para las Justicias. Keep the good work in the community. And also the Brown Berets, Thomas Brown Berets from Sacramento, Santa Rosa, and all the other Brown Berets out there. Shout out to you guys too, brothers.
Now, we only ended because I ran out of questions. But if you got more stuff you want to do, because it's my show, we can stay on as long as we want. But, we send those shots out, and we will be talking with Naichi again. Check this out. I want to thank you for tuning in to Giami Journey Radio. You hear that? That's the sound of that Phoenix. And I'm here at Simbaland. Peace out.
Do you hear that? Is it supposed to sound like Mr. Deity? I think it sounds great. Mr. Deity.
For black power, cause all we want is freedom. Throw up a fist for black power, cause all throw up a fist for black power, cause all we want is freedom. Throw up a fist for black power, cause all we want is freedom.
I want to send out a shot to Brother Mansour for this track. I've been using it the whole time. So Mansour, this shout out to you, bro. Peace. You owe me another song, by the way.
American Indian Movement Anthem.
Hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey,
Shout out to my Uncle Dennis Banks from the American Indian Movement, as well to all the elders of the American Indian Movement. And the second verse was Leonard Peltier song. And hope one day my uncle comes home to free Leonard Peltier. Aho.
Aho. Now Ichi caught the bug. He about to get his own show. Y'all gonna be able to tune in and do some cyber sweating with Naichi. As soon as he put his first show up, I will be hosting it through my radio station to try to build up his following. So y'all be stay tuned for that. Once again, this is Giami Journey Radio. As they call it at Phoenix. I love that. I gotta do that again. Broadcasting live from Simba Land. And with that, Brother Hatim says peace.
Black power, cause all we want is freedom. Throw up a fist for black power, cause all throw up a fist for black power, cause all we want is freedom. Throw up a fist, throw up a fist, throw up a fist, throw up a fist for black power, cause all we want is freedom. Throw up a fist for black power, cause all throw up a fist for black power, cause all we want is freedom. Throw up a fist, throw up a fist, throw up a fist, throw up a fist for black power, cause all we want is freedom. Throw up a fist for black power, cause all throw up a fist for black power, cause all we want is freedom. Throw up a fist, throw up a fist, throw up a fist, throw up a fist for black power, cause all we want is freedom.